Suppose you travel through time and space to Dharavi Slum in Mumbai, India, and become Ali, a 16-year-old garbage-picking girl. The first things you see when you open your eyes are the rust on the tin shacks, the stench of sewage ditches, and the never-ending hustle and bustle. You will shoulder the livelihood of yourself and your grandmother with your young shoulders forging warmth amid the mud and dust. This is your story about survival, perseverance, and glimmers of hope. It's 5 o'clock in the morning in Dharavi, still shrouded in the thickest gray haze before dawn. The sky is like a piece of old sackcloth soaked in grease, weighing heavily over the endless stretch of tin shacks. Even the starlight is completely swallowed up. Alarm clocks are a luxury here that you can't afford. What yanks you out of your light sleep is the tangled din outside the tin shack, sharp, dull, and ear-piercing all at once. The noise pricks your eardrums like countless tiny needles, dense and unrelenting. The first sound to register in your senses is the clatter of garbage collectors pushing wooden carts. Rumble, rumble. The wooden wheels roll over the mud, mingling with the creak of rubbing planks. The dull, dragging sound scrapes slowly against your eardrums like a blunt instrument. Right after that comes the screech of the iron shutter being pulled up by workers from the textile workshop next door. The noise is like a rusty iron sheet scraping against bone, piercing the last vestige of morning silence in an instant. You instinctively hunch your shoulders. In the distance, women are already washing up by the public water tap. Chatter in Marathi rises and falls, mixed with the clinking of buckets and the drip-drop of running water. These sounds weave into a trivial morning melody, and from farther away comes the whistle of Mumbai Central Railway Station. The prolonged whistle cuts through the morning mist, announcing the city's awakening and reminding you to start working immediately. Otherwise, there might be nothing but plain water left in your porridge bowl tonight. You huddle on a cot no bigger than 2 square meters, lying on top of 3 layers of old gunny sacks. Gravel and grass clippings inside the sacks dig into your back, making you wince with every careful turn. The thin blanket draped over you is patched 4 times over, its edges frayed and threads tangling around your fingertips. The blanket carries a damp chill, and morning dew seeps through the tin roof right beside your cheek. Cold droplets slide down your neck and into your clothes, jolting you with a shiver that chases away the last traces of drowsiness. You instinctively hold your breath, moving as lightly as a feather, and slowly sit up. On the other side of the cloth curtain comes your grandmother's steady yet labored breathing. Shed coughed on and off until the middle of the night again. Her fits of coughing felt like a blunt knife twisting in your heart. Shed finally managed to fall into a deep sleep near dawn, every breath sounding like an old creaky bellows being pumped. The soft whoosh, in whoosh, out is tiny but heart-wrenching, and you dare not disturb this fragile piece. In the corner of the shack stands a makeshift stove made of 3 cracked bricks holding a small blackened iron pot. The rim of the pot is caked with leftover rice from yesterday's porridge, hardened into brown scab-like lumps. Next to the stove are the wood shavings and waste paper you'd sorted out from yesterday's garbage haul, the only fuel you have. You always smooth dry and stack the waste paper neatly, not even wasting the tiniest scraps. You step barefoot onto the cold, muddy ground, the chill creeping up from the soles of your feet. You can't help shivering, then pull a handful of fine wood shavings out of the cloth bag in the corner. You spread a few crumpled pieces of waste paper over the shavings, then fish a crumpled box of matches out of your pocket. This box of matches was bartered for 3 plastic bottles. Only 5 matches are left, making them extra precious. You strike a match hard with your fingertip. The orange flame flickers to life, then is snuffed out by a cold gust of wind. A tiny red blister forms on your fingertip. You bite your lip to hold back a whimper, yanking your hand back and wiping it on the hem of your clothes. Taking a deep breath, you strike another match, cupping your hands around it to shield the flame as you feed it into the stove. The wood shavings crackle as the fire licks at them, and the flame gradually grows stronger. Thick smoke billows out, immediately choking you into a fit of violent coughing that brings tears to your eyes uncontrollably. Your vision blurs instantly. You quickly push the shack door open a crack to let the smoke escape. You have to be careful. Your grandmother's asthma can't stand smoke or she'll be in agony again. You hover by the stove, keeping a close eye on the pot, adding wood shavings now and then to control the fire. After a while, you pick up the bucket in the corner and pour half a bucket of murky tap water into the pot. This is the water you'd waited in line for half an hour to collect last evening. Tiny specks of dust and debris float on the surface. It needs to settle for a moment before use, so you pour the water into the iron pot slowly. Watching small bubbles rise to the surface, you plan to pour out some warm water for your grandmother to drink when it boils. The water begins to bubble and gurgle as it comes to a boil, steam curling out from the gaps around the lid. The steam carries a damp warmth. You put out the fire, wrap the pot's handles with a tattered cloth, and pour the water out. You pour the water into 2 chipped enamel cups, one with a cracked rim and a faded pattern. You place the slightly warmer cup on the small stool outside the cloth curtain, saving it for your grandmother when she wakes up. You add a splash of cold water to your own cup to adjust the temperature to lukewarm, then carry it over to the public water tap. 2 tired-looking neighbors are already in line at the tap. You stand silently at the end of the line, sipping the warm water slowly to chase away the chill in your chest. When it's your turn, you quickly fill your basin and splash water on your face and neck. The cold water jolts you fully awake in an instant. You dare not linger long. You fill half the basin and turn to head home, as there are still people waiting in line behind you. When you get back, your grandmother is already awake, sitting on the cot, clutching her chest and coughing softly. She stops coughing when she sees you come in, forcing a weak smile. "Ali, you're up." Her voice is as rough as sandpaper. "Grandma, you're awake." You hurry over, set down the basin, and hand her the warm water. "Drink some warm water first. It'll make you feel better." Grandmother takes the cup, her hands trembling slightly. She sips the water slowly. You squat down and pat her back, gently feeling her bony spine under your palm. "How are you feeling today?" You ask softly, your eyes filled with worry. "Much better. I'm not coughing so much anymore." Grandmother smiles and hands the cup back to you, urging you to prepare breakfast. Breakfast consists of 3 pieces of hard leftover chapati from the day before and a small dish of pickled radishes. The chapati has lost all its elasticity after sitting overnight, turning as hard as stone. Chewing it grates against your gums, making it hard to swallow. You push the 2 larger pieces onto the small wooden board dining table in front of grandmother. You only break off a tiny piece for yourself, chewing slowly to soften it with your saliva. When grandmother sees how little you're eating, she pushes 1 chapati back into your bowl. "You're doing heavy work today. Eat more to keep your strength up." "I'm old, I don't need much to fill me." Looking at her pale face, your eyes burn with unshed tears. You know she's just trying to save the food for you. You don't refuse any longer. You pick up the chapati and stuff it into your mouth, quickly mumbling that you'll bring lunch back with you. After eating, you check your garbage picking tools carefully. The edge of your woven sack is frayed but has been roughly stitched up. Your iron hook is made from a piece of scrap steel bar you found, sharpened to a point at the tip, with an old cloth wrapped around the handle to keep it from digging into your palm. You sling the woven sack over your shoulder and grab your tattered straw hat to shield yourself from the scorching midday sun. "Grandma, I'm off." You walk to the door and remind her not to overexert herself. Tell her to remember to drink water and to call Aunt Maya next door if she doesn't feel well. Grandmother nods and smiles, telling you to take care and not to worry. You push the door open and a wave of hot air carrying the stench of rot, mildew, and sewage hits you square in the face. It's a pungent, overpowering smell unique to Dharavi, and one you know all too well. You take a deep breath to suppress the discomfort, then step into the crowded alleyway. The main alleys in the heart of the slum are even more cramped and dilapidated. The narrowest sections are barely wide enough for one person to squeeze through sideways. You have to press yourself against the wall and hunch over to move forward, with tin shacks packed tightly together on both sides like beehives. The roofs are piled high with old furniture, plastic bottles, and other odds and ends, almost blocking out the sky entirely. Only a thin strip of grayish daylight hangs overhead, while potholes underfoot are filled with stagnant sewage. Plastic bags and rotten vegetable leaves float on the water's surface, with swarms of mosquitoes buzzing above them. The sewage emits a foul, fishy stench that mixes with the smell of makeshift latrines, making your stomach churn. You tiptoe across dry flagstones to avoid the puddles of sewage, wearing a pair of ill-fitting, hole-ridden old shoes. These shoes were borrowed. You have to take extra care of them, or you'll be forced to pick garbage barefoot. Occasionally, laborers carrying heavy loads pass by, their shoulders hunched, their backs nearly touching the ground, their faces etched with exhaustion. You have to quickly press yourself against the wall to let them pass. A single misstep could send you crashing to the ground. You once got knocked into by a load of goods, your shoulder throbbing with pain, but you didn't dare make a sound. You just endured it silently. Here the dignity of the poor is as light as a feather. Passing the alley entrance, you see a group of barefoot children chasing and laughing in the mud. Their faces are smudged with dirt, their hair tangled, but they laugh loudly, their laughter cutting through the hustle and bustle around them. They clutch small toys made from scrap materials, pushing them around in the sewage puddles. Their parents are out working from dawn till dusk with no time to look after them. Sewage and garbage are their only playground. Seeing them, you think of your own parents who passed away when you were young. When they were alive, you were carefree, you weren't wealthy, but you always had enough to eat and wear. Mother would braid your hair into pretty plaits, and father would bring you cheap fruit candies when he got off work. 3 years ago, a fire claimed your parents' lives, and with them all your happiness. From that day on, you were no longer a spoiled little girl. You became the sole breadwinner of the family. You became grandmother's only source of support. A wave of sadness washes over you and your eyes burn with tears. You don't have time to wallow in grief. You sniffle and quicken your pace. You head toward the small industrial zone on the outskirts of the slum. It's your main hunting ground for garbage. Before you even reach the zone, a pungent smell drifts toward you. It's a noxious mixture of dye-burnt plastic and the coppery stench of leather, thick and choking. Breathing it in makes your chest feel tight and you want to cough, but you're used to it by now. You cover your nose and mouth with your sleeve. The walls of the industrial zone are stained a riot of colors by the dyes, looking like a messy abstract painting. You weave skillfully between the workshops and stop at the back door of a textile factory. There's a large green trash bin here. It's your regular spot for scavenging. The bin is often filled with plastic bottles, metal wires, and old cloth scraps. Metal wires fetch the highest price, 10 rupees a kilogram, and they're your top priority when scavenging. You set down your woven sack, pick up your iron hook, and start rummaging through the bin quickly yet cautiously. Your eyes dart occasionally toward the workshop door. Security guards don't allow scavengers near the premises. A friend of yours was once shouted at and chased away by a guard. Her collected scrap was trampled to pieces and she was pushed to the ground and injured. You can't afford to make the same mistake. If your tools are confiscated, you'll have to go home empty-handed. Your iron hook clanks against the metal in the bin as you rummage, and you carefully fish out plastic bottles to inspect them. You also hook out a few pieces of metal wire which you drop into your woven sack happily. The clinking sound of the metal wires colliding is music to your ears. Suddenly the back door of the textile factory swings open, and a worker in blue overalls steps out to throw away some trash. He pauses when he sees you, his eyes widening in surprise, but there's no disgust in his gaze. You freeze your grip on the iron hook, slipping, your heart pounding so hard you think it might burst out of your chest. You want to run, but the worker doesn't shout at you. He throws the trash away, then walks back inside, glancing at you once more before closing the door. There's a hint of pity in his eyes. You let out a long breath, your back soaked with cold sweat. You steady your nerves and go back to rummaging, moving even more carefully than before. The sun climbs higher and higher in the sky, blazing down like a fireball and scorching the earth below. The tin roofs radiate searing heat and the temperature around you rises steadily. Sweat beads on your forehead and drips down your cheeks, stinging your eyes. You wipe your face with your sleeve, leaving 2 dark streaks of dirt across your skin. You've finished rummaging through all the bins in the industrial zone and your woven sack is half full of scrap. Glancing up at the sky, you guess it's almost 9 o'clock. You decide to head to the commercial district a few kilometers away. Tourists there often throw away drink bottles, aluminum cans, and sometimes even leftover food.
You'll save any food you find, and get back for grandmother to supplement her diet. After walking for 20 minutes, the scene around you changes completely. Narrow alleys give way to wide streets, and low tin shacks are replaced by towering skyscrapers. Glass curtain walls reflect the dazzling sunlight, and shop windows display exquisite merchandise. Pedestrians walk by in neat, bright clothes, hurrying along, their clean, put-together appearance a stark contrast to your dirt-streaked weariness. You weave through the crowd, with your dirty woven sack slung over your shoulder, standing out like a sore thumb. Many pedestrians deliberately step around you, some wrinkling their noses and shooting you looks of disdain. You once accidentally bumped into a man in a suit, who jumped back, as if he'd been burned, wiping his clothes furiously. He shouted insults at you, in harsh Marathi. You hung your head and apologized quickly, scurrying away as fast as you could. You're used to this treatment by now. You've learned to tuck your dignity away where no one can see it. You keep your head down, focusing on rummaging through the trash bins behind restaurants and shopping malls, ignoring the stares from around you. Your goal is clear: collect more scrap, earn more money, and buy better medicine for grandmother. You get lucky at the back door of a cafe, finding over a dozen aluminum cans. There are also a few unopened drink bottles. Just as you're about to move on, someone taps you on the shoulder. Your heart skips a beat. You think it's a security guard. You spin around quickly, only to find it's Ajay. Ajay is small and thin, half a head shorter than other boys his age, with tattered clothes and messy hair. But he has bright, lively eyes. His parents were injured in an accident, so he had to support his family at the age of 14. You and Ajay met because of your similar circumstances, and you've become good friends who rely on each other. Sister Ali, you're here too. Ajay breaks into a wide, happy smile. You let out a sigh of relief and smile back. In a place full of suffering, having a companion is an extra source of warmth. Ajay leans in close and lowers his voice, telling you he knows a great spot with few security guards. He found over a dozen plastic bottles there yesterday, plus an unopened bar of chocolate. He pulls a small piece of chocolate out of his pocket and hands it to you, telling you to take it back for your grandmother. You swallow hard, but shake your head, refusing. You tell him to keep it for his little sister instead. Ajay insists, shoving the chocolate into your hand. He says his sister has plenty of treats. She won't miss this one. Looking into his sincere eyes, warmth fills your heart. You carefully tuck the chocolate into your inner pocket. Ajay suggests you both scavenge separately for a while, then meet under the big banyan tree in the slum at noon. You can go to the good spot he found together then. You nod in agreement, making plans to meet at noon. Ajay waves goodbye, his small figure disappearing quickly into the crowd. You clutch the chocolate in your pocket, your heart full of warmth, and continue scavenging. The sun grows even more, scorching, burning your skin and cracking your lips, but you don't feel tired. The thought of bringing chocolate to grandmother and earning more money fills you with energy. By noon, the sun is at its fiercest, its rays piercing your skin like scalding needles. Your clothes are soaked through with sweat, clinging to your body, cold and heavy, uncomfortable against your skin. You sling your half-full sack over your shoulder and quicken your pace, heading toward Uncle Raj's stall on the edge of the slum. The stall is made of wooden planks and covered with a blue plastic tarp, kept neat and tidy. Uncle Raj sells curry rice and chapati. His business is booming, and he's a kind-hearted man. He knows how hard your life is, so he lets you do odd jobs in exchange for lunch, a rare luxury for you. Ali, you're here. Uncle Raj greets you warmly, his smile kind and gentle. You smile back, set down your woven sack, and pick up a rag to wipe the tables and chairs with water. The tables are covered in grease stains that take several wipes to clean off. Your hands quickly become sticky and greasy. Sweat drips off you constantly, evaporating instantly in the heat, but you don't dare slack off, moving quickly and efficiently. Uncle Raj watches you, his eyes filled with sympathy. After nearly an hour of busy work, the number of customers starts to dwindle. Uncle Raj heaps a bowl full of curry rice for you. He also gives you an extra piece of hot chapati, telling you to take it back for your grandmother. You take the warm meal, your throat tightening with gratitude as you thank him repeatedly. Uncle Raj pats your shoulder, telling you to eat quickly before the food gets cold. You find a shady spot in the corner and eat hungrily. The warm meal chases away your exhaustion and hunger. This is your first hot meal of the day, and the best one you've had in days. You eat quickly, but savor every bite, scraping every last grain of rice from the bowl. After eating, you head to the nearby scrap collection point to sell some of your finds. The collection point is a small tin shack run by a fair-minded man named Bachan, who never cheats people out of their money. You sort your scrap into different piles. Bachan weighs each pile on an old balance scale and calculates the price. Plastic bottles sell for 1 rupee each, aluminum cans for 1.5 rupees, and metal wire for 10 rupees a kilogram. Bachan calls out the numbers loudly and uses an abacus to tally up the total, finally handing you 71 rupees. You carefully tuck the money into your inner pocket, the feel of the paper bills bringing you a rare sense of security. This is enough to cover your and grandmother's basic living expenses for a day. Glancing at the time, you see it's almost 1 o'clock. Remembering your promise to Ajay, you hurry toward the big banyan tree at the entrance of the slum. It's lunchtime in the slum, and the area is bustling with activity. Women crowd around the public water tap, washing vegetables and doing laundry, their chatter in Marathi filling the air. Children pour out of the nearby school, chasing and laughing, clutching cheap snacks in their hands. The cries of vendors, the clinking of pots and pans, all these sounds blend together, filling the air with the warmth of daily life. You hurry through the crowd and reach the big banyan tree, where Ajay is already waiting. He's clutching a thick wooden stick wrapped with wire. When he sees you, he waves and smiles. You walk over and apologize for being late. Ajay waves a hand dismissively, saying he just arrived too. He shakes the stick, telling you it's for chasing away stray dogs. He was chased by a fierce dog when he went to a garbage dump on the outskirts yesterday. With the stick today, he won't be afraid. It turns out the good spot is a garbage dump on the outskirts. You hesitate, remembering grandmother's warnings to be careful. But looking at Ajay's eager eyes and thinking about earning more money to buy medicine, you finally nod your head in agreement. You agree to rummage for 2 hours, then head back before dusk to avoid the dangers of the night. The slum isn't safe at night, robberies are common, and kids like you are easy targets. Ajay nods excitedly. The two of you walk side by side, heading toward the garbage dump on the outskirts. You don't talk much on the way, keeping your heads down and hurrying forward. The sun is still scorching, stretching your shadows long on the ground. An occasional breeze brings a brief moment of coolness, but it's quickly swallowed up by the hot air. After walking for an hour, you reach the garbage dump, a huge mountain of waste piled high with all kinds of scrap. The garbage heap looks like an ugly hill, emitting a suffocating stench under the sun. The air is thick with the smell of rot and industrial waste, making you want to vomit. You and Ajay cover your noses with your sleeves, frowning. A few skinny dogs wander around the dump, their furs matted and dirty, their ribs sticking out prominently, their eyes fierce and aggressive. They lift their heads when they see you, growling low in their throats, as if warning you not to come any closer. Ajay lowers his voice, telling you to be careful, his grip on the stick tightening. You nod, clutching your iron hook firmly, and the two of you step cautiously into the garbage dump. You split up to scavenge, agreeing to call out to each other every 10 minutes to make sure you're safe. You focus on rummaging through the trash, your iron hook clinking as it stirs the garbage. There's much more scrap here than in the city. You quickly fill your sack with metal wires and plastic bottles. Your woven sack grows heavier and heavier, bulging at the seams. Joy fills your heart, and you rummage even harder. Suddenly, a sharp pain shoots through your fingertip, as if bitten by a poisonous snake. You gasp and yank your hand back, seeing a deep cut, your right index finger, from a shard of glass. Blood drips steadily from the wound, and the pain grows more intense by the second. Your fingertip goes numb. You want to call out to Ajay, but you're afraid of attracting the stray dogs. You clench your teeth and endure the pain. You can't afford to go to the hospital, so you have to treat the wound yourself. You pull a piece of clean scrap cloth out of your pocket and press it firmly against the wound to stop the bleeding. Blood soaks through the cloth quickly. You press harder until the bleeding finally slows down. You wrap the cloth tightly around the wound and tie a knot. From not far away, you hear Ajay calling your name anxiously. Ajay heard your gasp of pain and ran over. When he sees your bleeding finger, his face fills with worry. Sister Ali, what happened? Did you cut yourself on glass? You smile and say you're fine, trying to reassure him, but your face pales from the pain. Ajay squats down to look at your wound, his eyebrows furrowed. He tells you to rest while he helps you scavenge. He pulls a fruit candy out of his pocket and hands it to you, telling you to suck on it to ease the pain. You try to refuse, but Ajay insists, shoving the candy into your hand. He says you need the sugar since you're hurt. You take the candy, unwrap it, and pop it into your mouth. The sweetness spreads, easing the pain a little. You thank Ajay, who picks up your iron hook and offers to rummage for you. You say you're okay, that the wound is minor, and you can keep working. You want to scavenge together. Ajay refuses to listen, insisting on helping you. He tells you not to strain yourself. You can't argue with him, so you agree. Ajay rummages carefully, glancing back at you every now and then, afraid you'll get hurt again. After rummaging for another hour, your woven sacks are completely full. You look up at the sky and find it growing dark clouds gathering like a heavy black cloth. A strong wind suddenly picks up, bending the tree branches wildly back and forth. Plastic bags and waste paper swirl through the air above the garbage dump, flying everywhere. Oh no, it's going to rain. You panic, call out to Ajay. You tell him to pack up quickly. You need to head back right away. Ajay nods, helping you tie the mouth of your sack shut. Just then, big raindrops start to fall. In an instant, it pours with rain, the water hitting your body, cold and biting. You're soaked to the skin in seconds, the rain blurring your vision. Your clothes cling to your body, cold and heavy, uncomfortable against your skin. The slum has poor drainage. Rainwater pools in the alleyways, forming deep puddles that soak your ankles. The mud underfoot is slippery and hard to walk on. Rain pounds on the tin roofs, deafening your ears. You and Ajay sling your full sacks over your shoulders and run, supporting each other as you go. The scrap is soaked through with rain, growing heavier and heavier, straining your shoulders until they ache. The cut on your finger stings even more as it's soaked in the rain. Ajay shouts for you to slow down and watch your step, holding your hand tightly. You reply that you're fine, telling him to be careful too. His hand is small, but strong and steady. That hand gives you an unexpected sense of security as you struggle forward together. It takes you more than twice the usual time to finally get back to the slum. When you enter the shack, you find water seeping through the gaps in the roof, pooling in small puddles on the floor. Grandmother is using every tattered pot and bucket in the house to catch the water. When she sees you soaked to the skin, her face fills with sympathy. She puts down the pots and runs over to wipe your face, urging you to change your clothes quickly to avoid catching a cold. You smile and say you're fine, but your voice trembles with cold. Grandmother pulls you inside, rummaging through a wooden chest to find clean old clothes for you to change into. She feels your forehead to make sure you don't have a fever, then lets out a sigh of relief. You go behind the cloth curtain and change into dry clothes quickly. The bandage on your finger is soaked through, and the pain intensifies. You rebandage the wound with a clean piece of cloth, pressing down firmly to ease the pain. After changing, you help grandmother catch the rainwater with the pots and buckets. The shack is small, and there's no way to keep all the water out. You find a few pieces of old cloth and spread them over the leaking spots, trying to reduce the amount of water dripping inside. After about an hour, the rain stops. The sky clears up, and sunlight streams down, casting bright spots on the ground. The air smells fresh, filled with the scent of wet earth. You walk to the door to check on your scrap. The scrap in the woven sack is completely soaked. Plastic bottles are deformed, and metal wires have rusted. The old cloth scraps are soaked through with water, growing heavier and heavier. You can't help but feel discouraged. You sit on the small stool at the door, feeling miserable, as if all your hard work has been for nothing. Your eyes fill with tears. Grandmother walks over and pats your shoulder, comforting you softly. She tells you not to be sad, that you can spread the scrap out to dry and sell it tomorrow. It's better than nothing. Grandmother says you've worked hard enough, and she's seen everything you've done. Her words chase away your discouragement, and you nod your head. You say you'll spread the scrap out to dry, then go scavenge a little more in the nearby alleys to make up for it. You spread the soaked scrap out on the flagstones at the door, where the sun is bright and warm. You pick up your iron hook, tell grandmother where you're going, and step out of the house. You don't go far, just scavenge in the nearby alleys, so you can keep an eye on grandmother while you work. By 6 o'clock in the evening, the sky grows dark. The setting sun casts a golden glow over the tin shacks. The golden light softens the shabbiness of the slum. You sling the extra scrap you've collected over your shoulder and head home. Grandmother has already cleaned up the puddles of water inside the shack, and she's even turned over the scrap you spread out to dry. You walk into the shack and set down your woven sack. Grandmother hands you a cup of warm water, telling you to rest. She says she'll heat up dinner for you, but you pick up your woven sack and head to the scrap collection point instead. Bachan is just packing up his things, getting ready to close for the day. When he sees you, he stops to help you. With the extra scrap you collected in the afternoon, your haul for the day is actually pretty good. Bachan weighs the scrap and calculates the total, then hands you 120 rupees. You carefully tuck the money into your inner pocket, feeling a deep sense of security. You thank him repeatedly. After leaving the collection point, you stop at a roadside stall to buy some green vegetables and half a kilogram of rice. The kind old lady who runs the stall knows about your difficult situation, so she gives you 2 extra green onions for free. You carry the groceries and walk home briskly. 120 rupees is enough to cover your living expenses for 2 days. When you get home, you set down the groceries and head to the makeshift kitchen to start a fire and cook. Grandmother sits beside you, helping you pick the vegetables, chatting softly about the days when she used to grow cotton when she was young. She says the cotton fields stretched as far as the eye could see. When the cotton was ripe, the fields turned into a vast white sea. Picking cotton made her hands sore, but she was happy because cotton could be sold for money to buy food and new clothes. Grandmother's voice is gentle, her eyes filled with nostalgia and helplessness for the past. You listen carefully, nodding now and then. The warmth of the kitchen chases away the dampness and cold. Dinner is thin porridge with stir-fried green vegetables. You and grandmother eat it, feeling completely satisfied. The porridge is soft and mushy, filled with the rich aroma of rice, and the green vegetables are fresh and tasty. The street lamp at the alley entrance turns on, its dim yellow light streaming through the gaps in the tin shack. The light casts dappled spots on the ground, adding a touch of warmth to the simple little shack. You push your bowl of porridge toward grandmother, who picks up most of the green vegetables and puts them in your bowl. The warmth between grandmother and granddaughter flows through the dinner, chasing away the exhaustion and hardship of the day. After dinner, you bring a basin of warm water, help grandmother wash up, and then assist her to lie down. Grandmother's asthma didn't act up today. Her breathing is steady, which puts your mind at ease. You start tidying up your tools for the day, wiping your iron hook clean and stitching up the holes in your woven sack. You collect the dry clothes and fold them neatly, putting them into the wooden chest left behind by your parents. This is the only relic left by your parents, though it's tattered. It's still useful for storing things, and you cherish it dearly. By now, the hustle and bustle in the alley has faded away, leaving only the occasional bark of a dog and the distant hum of machines. The slum slowly sinks into the quiet of the night. After checking that the doors and windows are closed tightly, you walk over to your cot and sit down. You lie down, your whole body aching, and the cut on your finger still throbbing faintly. You turn to look at grandmother, who is sound asleep, her eyebrows relaxed, peaceful smile on her face. You make plans in your mind. Tomorrow, you'll go to the small workshops in the industrial zone and ask about temporary work. You've heard that temporary workers earn 100 rupees a day, more than you make scavenging garbage. If you can find a job, you can earn more money to buy better asthma medicine for grandmother. You also want to save up to buy grandmother a new thin coat. The one she's wearing now is too old and doesn't keep her warm. These small hopes are like little lights, illuminating your tired heart. You know life is hard and the future is uncertain, but you will never give up. As long as you work hard and take good care of grandmother, life will get better little by little. Weariness washes over you, and scenes from the commercial district this morning flash through your mind. The warm lights of the tall buildings, the exquisite merchandise in the shop windows, the smiles on the pedestrians' faces, the aroma of coffee in the air. You don't know if you'll ever be able to leave the slum, but deep in your heart, you firmly believe that as long as you don't give up, there will always be hope. You don't crave great wealth and luxury. You only hope that grandmother will be healthy and that you won't have to worry about food and clothing. You hope to have a clean, warm home, one that doesn't leak when it rains, unlike the tin shack you live in now. These small hopes for the future are the source of your strength to keep working. A wave of deep exhaustion sweeps over you. You yawn, your eyelids growing heavy. Soon, you drift off to sleep, exhausted, entering a sweet dream. In your dream, you find a stable job and earn enough money to move out of the slum with grandmother. You move into a clean, bright little house with a separate kitchen and bathroom. The yard is planted with small flowers. The sun is warm and bright, and grandmother's asthma is cured. She can even make your favorite chapati for you again. The tin shack is completely quiet outside. The cold moonlight streams through the gaps, casting light and shadow on the ground. It's like a gentle hand stroking you, accompanying you to the end of this ordinary yet difficult day. Before dawn breaks the next day, you are woken up by the hustle and bustle outside the window again. You rub your sleepy eyes, sit up, and look at grandmother, who is still sound asleep, and a determined smile spreads across your face. A new day has begun. You step into the familiar mud and hustle and bustle, filled with hope. For the sake of your livelihood, for grandmother, and for the glimmers of hope in your heart, you continue to work hard to survive. After washing up and eating a simple breakfast, you sling your woven sack over your shoulder and set off. Instead of scavenging garbage first today, you head straight for the small workshops in the industrial zone. You go from workshop to workshop, asking if they're hiring, your heart filled with both nervousness and hope. Most of the bosses shake their heads, saying they're not hiring or look down on you for being too young and weak. You don't get discouraged. You keep walking forward until you see a textile workshop with a hiring notice posted on the door. It says they're hiring temporary workers, paying 100 rupees a day. Your heart skips a beat with excitement. You hurry into the workshop. It's hot and stuffy inside, filled with the smell of dye and cotton. A dozen workers are busy at their stations, with machines roaring loudly all around. You find the middle-aged, slightly plump workshop owner and ask him timidly if the position is still available. The boss looks you up and down, frowning. You're so young. Can you handle the work? I can do any kind of work. You hurry to say, your voice firm and resolute. I used to help vendors with odd jobs, and I've also picked garbage. I'm strong and hardworking. I won't slack off at all. The boss thinks for a moment, then nods. All right, you can give it a try. Your main job is to sort cotton, pick out impurities, and deliver it to the machines. The boss adds 100 rupees a day. If you do well, you can stay on permanently. Thank you, boss. Thank you so much. You exclaim, so excited, you almost cry. You thank him repeatedly. The boss finds you a spot and hands you a basket and a pile of cotton to sort. You start working immediately, carefully picking out the impurities from the cotton. Then you carry the sorted cotton over to the machines one by one. You move quickly and efficiently. Even though it's your first time doing this kind of work, you soon get the hang of it. The workshop is filled with the deafening roar of machines, and the air is hot and stuffy. Sweat soon beads on your forehead, but you don't feel tired at all. Your heart is filled with joy and motivation to keep going. You make a silent vow to yourself: as long as you can earn a stable income, you will endure any hardship or fatigue. By noon, the boss hands out lunch to the workers, chapati and a small dish of curry. You take the lunch and eat it quickly, then go straight back to your station to keep working. You want to perform well to secure a permanent position, not wasting this hard-won job opportunity. At 5 o'clock in the afternoon, the workday ends. After checking your work, the boss is very satisfied with your performance. He hands you 100 rupees in wages. You clutch the money tightly in your hand, feeling an immense sense of security. This is the first time you've earned money through formal work. It means a great deal to supporting you and grandmother. You go to the pharmacy first, buying a bottle of better quality asthma medicine for grandmother. The kind pharmacy owner tells you how to use the medicine properly, reminding you to make sure grandmother rests well and stays warm. Then you head to the vegetable market, buying a kilogram of rice, a bunch of green vegetables, and a small piece of chicken. You want to make a hearty dinner for grandmother, letting her taste the flavor of meat she hasn't had in a long time. When you get home, grandmother is already waiting at the door. She hurries over to greet you as soon as she sees you. Grandmother looks worried as she asks, "Ali, why are you so late today? Did something happen?" "Grandma, I'm fine." You smile and hand her the medicine and groceries, your voice filled with joy. "I bought you better asthma medicine, and I also bought chicken. Tonight, we're having chicken curry rice." Grandmother stares at the medicine and chicken in shock, her eyes filling with tears instantly. "Ali, this money is—" "Grandma, I found a job," you announce excitedly. "I'm working at the textile workshop. 100 rupees a day. If I do well, I can stay on permanently. From now on, I can earn a stable income. I don't have to pick garbage anymore, and you don't have to worry about me or our livelihood anymore." Tears roll down grandmother's face as she listens. She takes your hand, her voice trembling with emotion. "That's wonderful. You don't have to suffer anymore." "Don't cry, Grandma." You wipe her tears away. "Life will get better and better from now on. Let's go inside and make dinner." You walk into the kitchen and start busying yourself. Grandmother sits beside you, watching your figure with a content smile. It's your first time handling chicken. Your movements are clumsy, and your fingers turn red from the cold water. You still work carefully, cutting the chicken into pieces and washing the green vegetables thoroughly. You light the wood shavings in the stove and start stewing the chicken. Soon, the kitchen is filled with a delicious aroma. The rich smell of chicken mixes with the spicy warmth of curry, a thick, wonderful scent that Tin Shack has never known before. Grandmother watches you gently, handing you bowls and spoons now and then, chattering softly to remind you to control the heat. You nod in response to her every word, your heart warm and full. The pain in your fingertip doesn't even feel like anything anymore. Night falls. The dim yellow light from the street lamp at the alley entrance streams through the gaps in the tin shack. The light casts tiny dappled spots on the ground, adding a touch of warmth to the simple little house. You bring out the tender stewed chicken curry and hot rice, placing them on the small wooden dining table. The chicken melts in your mouth, and the curry flavor permeates every piece of meat. The rice is soft and fragrant. You fill a bowl full for grandmother, piling several pieces of chicken on top. "Grandma, eat more. It'll help you get stronger." Grandmother takes small bites, her eyes filling with tears again. "It's delicious. I haven't eaten such tasty chicken in so long." Her voice is choked with emotion but her face is filled with undeniable joy and contentment. You also fill a bowl for yourself and eat slowly. The warm meal chases away the exhaustion of the day. The sense of accomplishment from working hard to give grandmother a good meal fills you with strength. Looking at grandmother smile, you make a silent vow to work hard and give her an even better life. After dinner, you take the initiative to clean up the bowls and chopsticks, washing them carefully with the little water you have. Grandmother sits on the cot, running her fingers over the asthma medicine bottle repeatedly, her eyes filled with cherished affection. She asks softly, "Ali, this medicine is expensive, isn't it?" You smile and lie. "No, it's not. The boss gave me a bonus extra. It's enough to buy several more bottles." You don't want grandmother to worry about money. You only want her to take the medicine and get better in peace. Grandmother doesn't ask any more questions. She carefully puts the medicine bottle into the small wooden chest under her bed, where she keeps her most valuable things. Grandmother says to you with affection, "If the work is too tiring, take a rest. Don't push yourself too hard. Ordinary medicine is good enough for me." You squat down beside her and take her dry, rough hand in yours. "This job is easier than picking garbage. I can earn more money this way. In the future, I'll buy you the best medicine and make sure you stay healthy." Grandmother's hand is cold and rough. You hold it tightly, wanting to give her as much warmth as you can. Night grows late. You help grandmother wash up and tuck her into bed. She soon falls asleep, her breathing steady and even. You lie down on your cot, but you don't fall asleep immediately. Scenes from the day flash through your mind one by one. The busyness of work, the joy of receiving your wages, grandmother's smile, all these things fill your heart with hope. You think back to the hardships of picking garbage in the past, braving the scorching sun and pouring rain, always afraid of being chased away. Back then, the money you earned was just enough to put food on the table. Now, with a stable job, you no longer have to endure the wind and sun. You know this is just the beginning. As long as you keep working hard, life will definitely get better and better. Over the next few days, you go to work on time, getting more and more skilled at sorting cotton. The boss is very satisfied with your performance, often praising you for being hardworking and capable in front of the other workers. Hearing his praise makes you even more motivated. Gradually, the other workers also accept you as one of their own. During breaks, they chat with you, sharing tips for working in the workshop, and even give you snacks.
Kaya, one of the female workers, is especially kind. She often helps you voluntarily and teaches you tricks to sort impurities quickly. During a break, Kaya hands you a piece of chapati. "You're so young, yet you're already out here working. It's not easy for you." You thank Kaya, telling her about grandmother's poor health and how you need to earn money to treat her illness and support her. Kaya looks at you with sympathy, saying, "You're a capable girl." She encourages you to keep working hard to secure a permanent position. This kindness from a stranger warms your heart, strengthening your resolve to work hard. Every day after work, you buy fresh ingredients to make delicious meals for grandmother, supplementing her nutrition. Grandmother's health gradually improves, her asthma attacks become less frequent, and she smiles more and more often. One day after work, you see grandmother standing at the door from a distance, holding a small cloth bag in her hand. Grandmother walks over to greet you, handing you the cloth bag. "Ali, look what grandma made for you." You open the cloth bag and are overjoyed to find a pair of brand new cloth shoes inside. The shoes are sewn from old cloth scraps, with neat, sturdy stitches and thick, soft soles. Tears fill your eyes instantly. "Grandma, did you make these shoes for me? It's been so long since you've worn new shoes. The ones you've been wearing are all tattered, ill-fitting hand-me-downs." Grandmother smiles and says, "You have to walk a long way to work. Your old shoes aren't comfortable. These shoes are durable and soft." She helps you take off your old shoes and put on the new ones. They fit perfectly, feeling soft and comfortable under your feet. You throw your arms around grandmother, your voice choked with emotion as you thank her. These cloth shoes are filled with her deep love for you. Grandmother pats your back and smiles contentedly, saying she's glad you like them. Life gets better and better. You keep your job steadily, and the boss keeps his promise to make you a permanent worker. Your wages are raised to 150 rupees a day. You save most of the money for long-term plans. You plan to save enough money to rent a clean, non-leaking house and move there with grandmother. One day after work, as you pass the big banyan tree, someone calls your name. You turn around and see it's AJ. AJ is still carrying his tattered woven sack and wooden stick, but his face looks healthier, and his eyes are still bright. OJ asks you happily, "Sister Ali, I heard you found a job and don't pick garbage anymore." You smile and nod. "Yes. I'm a permanent worker now. I work at the textile workshop." OJ jumps up and down with excitement. "That's amazing. I knew you could do it." Warmth fills your heart. You take out 20 rupees and hand it to him, telling him to buy some food and snacks for his little sister. OJ refuses, saying, "It's not easy for you to earn money. You still have to buy medicine for grandma." You insist, shoving the money into his hand. "We're friends. You helped me a lot in the past." You ask OJ if he's ever thought about finding a job picking garbage isn't a long-term solution. OJ hangs his head, saying he's tried, but boss will always turn him down for being too young. He has no choice but to keep picking garbage to support his family. You tell him the workshop might still be hiring. You'll ask the boss for him tomorrow, and tell him to come in the afternoon to wait for the result. Hope fills OJ's eyes instantly. He thanks you excitedly, making plans to meet you in the afternoon. After saying goodbye to OJ, you walk home, feeling light and content, happy that you can help your friend. You firmly believe that as long as you keep a kind heart and work hard to live, hardships will always pass, and hope will always come. The next day at work, you go to find the boss early in the morning, telling him about AJ's difficult situation. You beg the boss. He's very hardworking and capable. Please, give him a chance. The boss frowns and thinks for a moment, then agrees. Tell him to come in the afternoon. If he seems suitable, he can start as a temporary worker first. After work in the afternoon, you see AJ already waiting at the workshop door, pacing back and forth, anxiously. AJ runs over to you quickly, asking, "Sister Ali, did the boss agree to hire me?" You smile and tell him the boss wants him to go inside for a try. You remind him not to be nervous and to answer the boss's questions honestly. AJ is so excited, he's trembling. He puts down his things, straightens his clothes, and follows you into the workshop. The boss looks AJ up and down, asking him about his family situation and whether he can endure hardship. AJ answers in a soft but firm voice, his eyes filled with longing for the job. The boss nods in agreement. "Come to work tomorrow. You'll be sorting cotton. 100 rupees a day." AJ is so excited, he almost cries, bowing repeatedly to thank the boss. Walking out of the workshop, AJ takes your hand. "Thank you so much. I can finally earn money to support my family." You smile and say it's all because of his own hard work and determination. From now on, you can go to work and earn money together. After that, AJ goes to work with you every day. He's hardworking and quick to learn, mastering the skills quickly. The boss is satisfied with him, often praising him. You and OJ go to work and walk home together, encouraging and supporting each other. You save more and more money. Finally, you find a suitable house on the edge of the slum. The house is over 10 square meters clean and tidy, with a separate kitchen and bathroom. It's far better than the tin shack you used to live in. The rent is 1,000 rupees a month, which is quite expensive, but you grit your teeth and decide to rent it, to improve your and grandmother's living conditions. On moving day, Ajay and Kaya come to help. Ajay carries the luggage, while Kaya cleans the house. Grandmother looks at the clean, bright new house, her eyes filling with tears of excitement, unable to speak. She walks around every corner of the house, touching the clean walls, and smiles widely when she sees the separate kitchen and bathroom. Grandmother takes your hand, her voice choked with emotion. "We finally have a home of our own. Thank you, Ali." You throw your arms around grandmother, tears rolling down your face. "From now on, we'll live here without suffering. I'll earn more money to make you happy." On the first night in the new house, you cook a hearty dinner, inviting Ajay, Kaya, and Uncle Raj to come over. Everyone sits around the dining table, eating and chatting happily, the house filled with laughter and joy. Uncle Raj praises you, saying, "From a garbage-picking girl to having a stable job and a new house set, hasn't been easy for you." AJ and Kaya also compliment you, saying you're an inspiration to everyone. Looking at everything in front of you, your heart is filled with happiness and contentment. You know clearly that all this has been earned through your hard work. At night, you lie down on the bed in the new house. Looking at the bright moonlight outside the window, your heart is exceptionally calm. Grandmother is sleeping soundly beside you. You think back to the despair and hardship you felt when you first traveled through time. Those difficult days of picking garbage and getting caught in the rain are now in the past. You have propped up a sky for yourself and grandmother. You are no longer afraid of the challenges of the future, for you have the will to persevere, the support of friends, and the love of grandmother. You firmly believe that as long as you keep hope in your heart and work hard to live, there will be no obstacles you can't overcome. The moonlight shines gently on your face. You close your eyes and drift off to sleep with a content smile. In your dream, you, grandmother, Ajay, and Kaya plant a yard full of flowers. The sun is bright, the breeze is gentle, and everyone's face is filled with happy smiles.